Hey everyone, so if you live in Houston, today is a great day because it is so nice outside. I'm actually wearing a sweater. And in Houston, it's so hot and humid all the time. And whenever there are days like this, it's like you want to go out and start screaming. Like for us, this is a snow day where there's an actual like cool breeze and it feels nice outside. You're not sweating in every crevice of your body. So this is what we would call a snow day here in Houston, where it's like the temperature is below 80 degrees. So it's so nice. And thank God there was a cold front that came through. So today I'm having a cup of coffee with my Wizard of Oz mug. But yeah, so it's just so nice to be outside this morning. It's been a busy week. It's been a crazy week. I went to a haunted jail, and that was a lot of fun. I actually had a lot of fun putting the video together. So apparently the video is pretty good. It's funny because my sister shot the video and then she watched the edited version of the video where I condensed like an hour and a half worth of footage into 30 minutes so that way people wouldn't like get bored and focused in on like main parts of our trip. And she's funny because she watched it and she's the one that recorded it, and she's like, oh my god, it's so intense, or oh my god, it's so good, or I want popcorn watching this. I'm like, what? And I'm like, girl, you're the one that recorded it, like you should. I didn't have that reaction, maybe because I was having to go over the video footage so many times, but one thing that I thought was really weird was when I was, and you should watch it if you haven't watched the trip to the haunted jail. You should watch it because it's so interesting. And, Ingrid and I, we went to the place together. It was actually her idea to go to a haunted location together, and then we would shoot we were supposed to shoot live, each of us from our own pages simultaneously so people could see things from two different perspectives. That did not work out because we lost connection there, and I didn't think that was going to happen anyway, so I thought just making a video would be easier. But, when we were there are certain, like when I was editing the footage, these weird like incidents kept happening where there was sounds in the video but they weren't in the environment. And when I'm used to editing video all the time, because when I make these videos I have to go put my earphones on and I have to listen to every single, and I'm kind of a perfectionist because I want sometimes certain clips to fit into certain, so when I'm editing the video I'm always paying attention to the sounds because things should sound normal, and if there's something that's off or weird or whatever, even like if I when I'm talking and I cough or something, I'm very conscious of the sound. Control freak, right? Control freak. But when I was going over the video, I kept finding these anomalies where there was a weird sound that kept popping up, different sounds throughout the entire recording, but they weren't in the ambient environment. Now, I think in one or two occasions I heard it as well, but they were on the recording, they weren't in the environment. So these sounds just kind of popped in there. And not only that, but they sounded digital, which was interesting because, it's like we were in a jail. I mean, you should hear the ambient sounds and so forth, but these are digitized sounds within the recording. And that doesn't happen because I use my phone for recording. I'm using my phone right now. I use different types of cameras, and I've never had that happen before. So I thought that was interesting. And normally when you watch these shows on TV, you automatically when they're recording sounds and so forth, I always think to myself, like, they're totally just hyping it up, or they took one little sound and they like magnified it and they're like really wanting it to sound like a ghost or a spirit, so they're like messing with it. I've never really bought into the whole EVP thing because I feel like people really reach for something that's like out of this world or proof that there's ghost or spirit activity. So I think they're reaching a lot of times. But this is my own personal experience. I made a recording and there were some sounds on the recording that weren't usual for the recording or for my phone. So I thought that was odd. So that was interesting. Lots of fun at the prison, at the jail. At the end of the trash. The trash is coming to pick up stuff. But at the end of the recording, I did put information there. So if you guys want to go to the jail, like you can actually go and do like what we did, and all the information's there. So just look it up. And a good friend of mine, Lisa and Deb, run the jail right now, and they're trying to restore it, and they're doing more stuff to it. But it's where people, that's the business. That's what it is. It's a haunted jail, and people go there and travel for miles and miles to go to this jail. So check it out if you guys have not been to a haunted location. This is a good place to start. please protect yourselves. Watch my video. Please protect yourselves beforehand and make sure that you have everything you need during the session, and then afterwards make sure you cleanse yourself. You don't take anything home with you. So lately, my partner and I have been on this quest to simplify our lives and to try to like get rid of any excess. And if you've ever been to my home for a session, because this is where I hold all of my appointments, I hold them at my house. You know that, like I have a really nice, like old pier and beam style home, and like we put a lot of work into it, and there's all these little like knickknacks everywhere, stuff that we use to give it its personality and stuff. Well, the house itself has its own personality. I watched this documentary called The Minimalists, and The Minimalist is about these guys who are trying to minimalize their life. So they like get rid of all the excess, but they get a little extreme, and they only have so much of whatever. But they said that their lives were so much happier and they felt more fulfilled and stuff. And it's very true. I mean, if you notice, like I know a lot of people who hold on to things for way too long, and they become pack rats, and then it's like it takes over their lives. And everything that they are, all their accomplishments are based off of what they have, not who they choose to be in the moment or what they're choosing to experience. So we've been on this quest to become more minimal in our lifestyle. That doesn't mean that I want to live like out of a cardboard box and just kind of travel around with like 2 outfits, which is, I think one of them, like they only have like 3 outfits or 4 outfits. I'm like, that's a bit extreme. But we have been getting rid of a lot of stuff and trying to like reduce the clutter in our lives. So yesterday was cleaning day. We clean, and as we were cleaning, like what should have been a 2-hour process turned into like a 7-hour process, because we started just taking things away and trying to simplify things. So we're so used to having all these things in our home, and yesterday we literally took like a lot of our knickknacks and belongings and stuff that we just felt were just too much excess and did not reflect us as individuals. Just took it away, and it's all in our workout room. So our workout room is full of all the stuff that we've got there that we don't know what to do with. I think I'm going to do a yard sale next week, and maybe people in the neighborhood come in and maybe make some money off of that. And then I'll use that, and then we can go buy some other things that are going to be better fit and suited for our environment, but simplify things. And so we've been just going through the simplification process. So the house, sometimes on the inside, it looks a little more empty than usual, but I think it's just because of the way we feel, because we're used to seeing all these extra little things there, and they're not there. So we're trying to be a little more simplified, a little more simple, and like things just be very, not basic. I don't want to be a basic bitch, but just more simple, easier to keep up with. And so we were doing that. We've been doing that. But we're just trying to simplify our lives. I mean, it's all about the experience, right? It's not about what you have. It's about like how you experience life and how you choose to live your day, like live your life every single day. And I want to feel less about stuff and more about experiences. Growing up poor and having nothing, I was a welfare baby. Like my mom was on welfare. Like, those people who had those little books for food stamps, and they'd go and pay for stuff with these little books for food stamps. That was my life. And as a kid, I was so embarrassed all the time whenever we'd go grocery shopping, because I felt like I was nothing. I felt like I had nothing. I was nothing, and I was I was nothing. I was insignificant. And when she would, looking back, she was just trying to survive. We were trying to survive, and that's what she needed to do. And she worked a full-time job, but it wasn't enough to cover her expenses as a single mom. So, and then when she became sick and she started to suffer from her schizophrenia, she really couldn't work at that point. And so that was just her only source of income, was welfare and food stamps and all of that. So we got used to food stamps. And we used to go grocery shopping once a month. We'd go and she'd buy like $200, $300 worth of groceries for the month. And that would last us all month. And Mexican moms, like, they know how to make things stretch. So she knew how to make stuff stretch. And it's weird, Mexican moms know how to make things stretch, and they also know how to fatten you up. So as a kid, I was pretty chunky. So it was challenging to, be poor and not have anything. So as I got older and I started to have money and resources, like all of a sudden I want to start having stuff. So you start to accumulate because it's my way of trying to prove to myself or show myself, hey, I'm not poor, or hey, I'm not, that person anymore. I can afford this and I can afford that. And sometimes I get a little out of control because I tend to go shopping, and I do unconscious shopping where I'll go to the store and I just really don't pay attention to the. Well, I'm lucky that I'm in a position that I can do that I don't have to really pay as much attention to all the prices. I'm not going to go and overdo it, but sometimes I just grab what I want and just put it in my basket and I pay for it. And then some days I regret that decision because I did too much of that. And then some days I'm in budget. I'm within budget. So over the years, I've accumulated all kinds of stuff. And I'm constantly accumulating, and I'm like, what? And so now I'm at a point where I don't want to feel weighed down by my belongings. I don't want to feel like I am what I have. I want to feel different. I want to feel more connected to myself, and I don't want to feel so bonded to my belongings. Now, granted, there are things that I love that I will not part with. My books, all of my books in my library, I won't part with that because I've gone through 2 libraries already. I had an original library where all these books that I had collected and stuff that I read, stuff that I learned, all of my spiritual, and all the stuff I learned through spirituality. I gained that knowledge through all these books and all this information and then my own personal experiences. And I went through that once when I went through my major breakup before, and I just dropped a lot of stuff. And then I had to build my library back up again. So my books, I definitely won't part with my books. My phone or my MacBook, because I pretty much am solely dependent on those things. And so everything else I think is workable. I think I can do away with everything else in some form or fashion. It's just a matter of weeding it out. And even then, sometimes you find yourself having too much of something, too many undergarments or too many types of t-shirts or too many whatever. So I'm trying to really look at everything that I have and just kind of cut down, and keep it really simple, make really minimal. And which is why these guys they wear the same outfits almost every day, and there have been stories done where people who are very well known, Steve Jobs or the guy from Facebook, forgot his name, and this is going on Facebook. Sorry. But all these people they don't care so much about what they're wearing. They just have basic attire, and they don't focus on what they're wearing. They focus on the work. That's kind of where I want to go. I don't really want to worry so much about what I'm wearing and focus more on the work. And so I tend to wear the same few outfits over and over and over again just because I don't care about my attire. I want to focus more on the work. But at the same time, I don't want to look like a complete slob. But then I find myself I want to make a video right now. I've got this on my mind. If I go and get dressed and try to pretty myself up, I feel like I'm going to lose what I want to talk about right now. And I'm going to get delayed on my video. And then it's going to take forever for me to come back around to it. So you'll find me doing videos when I'm in my PJs or when I'm in my undergarments or whatever, because I have something I want to tell you in that moment. And if I don't share it, I'm going to lose it. And I want to give you what it is that I have to give you. So I'm to hell with what I look like. I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. If you like me, great. If you don't like me because I have my hair's not fixed, or because I'm wearing a white shirt, white undershirt or whatever, then I don't really want you to watch my Facebook page. So get away from me. But it shouldn't be about what you look like. It should be what you have to offer and what you have to bring. And granted, you have to get dressed for some things. I have to dress up for work and stuff. But still, it's it shouldn't be about appearance all the time. It should be about what you have to bring to the table. And I think that's a problem with people these days, where so many people are looking for happiness, and they think that buying that purse or looking this way or looking that way, it's all about superficiality. You're going to be happy based off of what you look like, what you dress like, whatever. And it's not. And I'm so happy that now media is starting to be more realistic and authentic. Before, when they would shoot shows, you wouldn't see any wrinkle on people's faces, and they were old as shit. And now you're seeing all these wrinkles. It's watching Will and Grace today. If you haven't watched Will and Grace, watch Will and Grace, because you can totally see a huge shift happen with the show and the way that they're dealing with stuff. Very relevant to today's issues, but you can see every wrinkle in people's faces, and you can see all these different imperfections, and I love that because it's real and it's authentic. And us trying to be, as a kid, I spent so many years trying to have the smoothest skin, or worried about my teeth, or having my body's supposed to be shaped a certain way, not realizing and completely oblivious to the fact that everything is photoshopped, or that they shoot with certain types of cameras so you don't see those imperfections. And now it's and then watching so much BBC and British television, they really don't care. They're very raw and very organic in the way that they show people, very real people, even though they're actors, but it's just so authentic looking, and I love it because I'm like, oh my god, that's life, like that's real life, and I love that. So I think we try so hard to be something that we honestly are not going to be able to hold on to for very long, and we miss out on other things we could be doing instead. So I think that finding our happiness in things is not really helping us as people. It's only limiting our potential to really see the meaning and the joy in life. I'm not saying you can't have joy in things. I'm not saying that. And I don't want you to say, Ferny says that I'm never going to be happy if I have an obsession with Prada purses. Like, that's not what I'm saying. If you love Prada purses, I have my cousin's partner. She's like in love with Hello Kitty, and they like anytime they have a chance to get something Hello Kitty, they've got a Hello Kitty something, and it brings her a lot of joy. I mean, it brings her tons of joy. I have a Star Trek ship collection. I have these little like ship toys, and I've collected them over the years. I mean, sometimes I actually still play with them. Like I grab them and I'll be like, ooh, like this is cool. That's the kid in me, but it makes me happy, it makes me joy, and I'm not going to part with them. So there's some things that belongings that I have. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't have things or that you shouldn't find joy in the things that you have. I'm just saying don't base your entire sense of happiness on things, because what will happen is that you will lose yourself in that, and then unless you are constantly having things and more things and more things, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be satisfied with your life. That's all I'm saying. So, I hope that maybe you can simplify some things in your life. You can start to cut back, and remove some things out of your life that you don't need, because it's only more stuff to have to worry about. And the simpler, the easier your life is, the more energy starts to shift, and you start to focus on other things that could potentially be much more authentic ways and fulfilling ways to have happiness, to feel connected to your life in a way that you have not been connected before. All right, guys, I wish you the very best. I love you guys. If you have any ideas for how to simplify, or if you've been doing the same thing, I would love to hear your story or your comments. So go ahead and post that in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, because you'll get more of my videos. If you're on Facebook, then like my Facebook page. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next time. Okay? Bye.